Alright, up next we have the Ivan Bilibin exhibit. Bilibin lived from 1876 to 1942 and did most of his work during the Russian Revolution and therefore was known as a revolutionary artist. Here we see three examples of his work, the first being a scene out of the fairy tale Ilya Muromets, where the bogatyr Ilya is about to shoot Nightingale the robber, a villain, out of the tree. Up next we have one of his more cartoonish examples, where you see a scene from Tsar's Altan, where the Tsar is in fact peeking in on the three sisters as they do their nightly activities. And last but not least, we have a painting of a character from Vasilisa the Beautiful, and the character depicted is the Red Rider, who is Baba Yaga's red sun. And you can even see the depiction of the sun on his shield and the fire of his sword to symbolize this. No photography. No photography. Now, as you can see, Ivan Bilibin liked to use a lot of reds and then mellow tones so that the reds would become accents for the rest of his art. So you can see Tsar's Altan here is clearly accented in red, as is the Red Rider. Of course, he should be. And then last but not least, you have a lot of red accents on Ilya Muromets and his horse, both with the shield and the bow, whereas, say, Nightingale the robber is green, yellow, much more mellow colors, and as is the rest of the scene. Any questions? Yes?
What influenced him to do these paintings?
A lot of his influences, from what we understand, is from Renaissance woodcuts, as well as a lot of Japanese art from the era. Alright, and now we come to the Mikhail Vruble exhibit. He lived from 1856 to 1910 and was part of the Symbolist movement. Right now we can see an example of his painting of the Swan Princess. He tended to avoid contemporary art trends like we might see in some of the other exhibits today. And he got a lot of influences from the early Renaissance. Similarly, he tried to take throughout the course of his career as an artist many different inspirations, one of the most prominent being that from Persian carpets and the texture even of Persian carpets specifically. Any questions? Yeah? All right. This next example of his work is just known as the bogatyr, and you can see a lot of examples from his inspiration from Persian carpets where there's a lot of texturing techniques done on specifically the horse. You can see right up under its neck. I don't know parts of horses. Sorry. And a lot on his armor as well. So, and yeah. Any questions?
I have one.
All right.
What is a bogatyr?
A bogatyr is just a Russian epic hero. So a good example or analogy from other cultures would be, say, Achilles from Greek lore. He would be an example of an epic hero. Similarly, bogatyrs were epic heroes as well. Any other questions? Right. Last week, we come to the exhibit of Viktor Vasnetsov. He liked to express fairy tales very vividly, and here we have an example of one of these, known as the bogatyrs. You'll notice a lot of stark differences between this and the last painting of a bogatyr that we witnessed. First off, it's a lot brighter, so there's a lot more life and just energy and light in the painting. He liked to use a lot of mellow tones, like the greens and the yellows, and then had used metallics to make the characters in his paintings pop. So you can tell, like, all with the three bogatyrs here, they really pop out of the scenery, or next to the kind of plain scenery. He also was a co-founder of the folklore and romantic modernism movement, right? And you can also see a lot of more classical elements being shown in the fact that the other two are painted to be very masculine, and they have like the full facial hair. But Popovich over there, like a lot of Renaissance and classical styles, is depicted almost effeminate because he is the youngest of the group. Any further questions? No? All right. So, for a final example of Viktor Vasnetsov's work, we have a scene out of Ivan the Firebird and the Grey Wolf, where the wolf is giving Ivan a ride back to his kingdom. Yeah?
Where's the restroom?
We have one outside. So just go out the door and someone will show you to it. All right. Any other questions?
Who's the woman?
The woman is Princess Elena which was one of the people that Ivan ended up having to retrieve for a long list of tasks that he had to do, as is common in a lot of fairy tales. So, but that is the beautiful Princess Elena that he will ultimately end up marrying. Any other questions? All right, well that should conclude our tour. Thank you very much for coming, and I hope you all enjoyed it and learned a little bit of something.